عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونشكره ونستعين به ونسترشده، ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد، ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وقائدنا ومرشدنا وحجتنا وشفيعنا محمد، وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه أجمعين، ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله وطاعته، وأحثكم على التمسك بهدي قرآنه وسنة نبيه. فقد قال الله جل من قائل: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام، إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. صدق الله العظيم. قد يظن البعض أن عنوان هذه الخطبة مبالغ فيه، ولكنني بإذن الله سأحاول من القرآن ومن السنة ومن السيرة أن أبرهن بأنه لا مبالغة في هذا العنوان. والعنوان هو: لا مكان لليأس والقنوط في دين الإسلام أو بين المسلمين. المسلم لا يجوز أبدا أن ييأس أو أن يقنط من رحمة الله مهما بلغت الأمور سوءا ومهما عظمت الابتلاءات. لا يجوز، لأن الله سبحانه وتعالى بدءا قد أشار في عدة مواضع من القرآن الكريم واصفا القانطين واليائسين بالضالين والكافرين في سورة الحجر آية رقم 56: ومن يقنط من رحمة ربه إلا الضالون إنه لا ييأس من روح الله إلا القوم الكافرون. الضالون الكافرون في سورة يوسف آية رقم 87. Some may listen to the title that I usually like to give before I start so that we stay focused, so that we don't just go around and not knowing what is the theme of the khutbah or khutbah. So I say that the title is "There's no room for despair in Islam." You cannot despair. You cannot lose hope. You cannot just say, that's it. I cannot do it anymore. I cannot handle this anymore. That's the end. I got it. These are the extreme statements wherein we really need not to get to that level, because that is despair. And the Almighty, in trying to give us the template of our way of life we call al-Islam, submission to the will of God, He told us that this experience we call al-hayat al-dunya, this phase of our life is a phase of testing, is a phase wherein we will face difficulties, wherein things will get really tough. But despite all of that, you cannot despair. You cannot just say, I lost it. You've got to always connect between God's mercy and how things will evolve. By the way, we all know I don't add anything to any one of us when I say that everything we are experiencing, we are observing, goes by the will of God. We know that. It's the way we handle things that determines whether we are having the right perspective or whether we are lost. And who likes to be lost? No one. Imagine if after, losing so many people in one incident, and many we heard are scholars, many are people who are just starting to produce, and who knows, maybe if they stayed, if they were not on that Ukrainian plane flight, maybe if they stayed, something different would have happened. And we are sad. 4 of them were from our London family. But if we say that I'm not going to travel on a plane again, we know that this is a sign of despair. Imagine if the people of Australia will say it's the biggest fire that involved any community. And from space, if you saw the image of Australia on fire, imagine if Australian authorities say, that's it, we're going to leave everything, because if we are going to rebuild, what if it happens again? They cannot say that. We know that after major disasters, people stood up again and they rebuilt and they decided to start again. And this is where I would like now to proceed from the importance of new beginnings. New beginnings are so important that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself showed us that his divine way is to do it, end it, start again, end it, start again, end it. Wait a minute, where did you bring this from? I didn't bring it from anywhere. I'm just quoting from Surah Al-Buruj. And I am not giving my own exegesis of the ayah that says, إِنَّهُ هُوَ يُبْدِئُ وَيُعِيدُ. إِنَّهُ هُوَ يُبْدِئُ وَيُعِيدُ وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الْوَدُودُ ذُو الْعَرْشِ الْمَجِيدُ فَعَّالٌ لِمَا يُرِيدُ. Listen to this. God does that which He wills. He willed for the fire in Fort McMurray a few years back. He willed for the Amazon fire, and I talked about that to show us part of what we committed. The corruption of the environment we are living in on this earth, so that we will wake up and stop abusing our environment. All of these things happen for a reason. God is not in the business of torturing people or punishing people. God is telling us you are going through a phase of your life, individually, communally, globally, wherein you have to learn something out of your experience on this station, earth, before you proceed. Now, Ibn Abbas said about this ayah, even though in Surah Al-Naml and Surah Al-Rum and in Surah Yunus, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, هُوَ الَّذِي يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُ. It is Allah who starts creation, and then He causes the creation to die. Then He brings that again from death. And many of the Mufassirin exegetists said that why not? The ayah in Surah Al-Buruj is referring to the same thing, which is creation. أَمَّنْ يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُ in Surah Al-Naml. But Ibn Abbas said no. Here, the verb is not connected with the subject. The verb is general. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts and then repeats, so that He will show us that everything is worth trying again. Never give up. And it's not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving up, then He's trying again. No. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to show us through divine will and divine plans that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself, He could have sent one message with one messenger to humankind from the time of Adam until the day of judgment. But the Almighty allowed 314 messengers out of 124 prophets and messengers. 5 of them messengers of great endurance, ulul azm, to show that even though there was not a complete outcome or a satisfactory outcome from previous messages, whether it was the message of Noah or Abraham or Moses, of Jesus, peace be upon all of them. But every time, God did not give up on us. He kept sending the same message over and over again, so that we will learn that we have to stand up on our feet and accept that message. We have to repeat, because by repetition sometimes we rediscover our strength. We cannot succumb to sorrow and despair and worrying, and that is why Al-Bukhari, in his authentic compilation of hadith, reported through the authority of Anas ibn Malik a dua, a supplication, that until today we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through this supplication to shield us from a few menaces, a few diseases that may come upon us and sway us from the proper path of living. Don't we say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal-hazan, wa a'udhu bika min al-ajzi wal-kasal, وأعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. Don't we say that? Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from being overwhelmed by worries and by sorrow. And I seek refuge in you to be overwhelmed by helplessness and by laziness. And I seek refuge in you to be a coward and to be stingy. And I seek refuge in you, O Allah, from falling into the trap of all things that will not show me as a strong person who is ready to start all over again. You know, every year on the 1st of January, people all over the world come up with a list. They don't have to write it, but they say, I have a list for a New Year resolution. What is a New Year resolution? What is it that they are trying to say or do? Mind you that some of them don't survive for more than a few days. Some survive for a month, couple of months. But there are those who say, no, I'm going to make a change. I will start again because I gained so much weight. I'm not happy at my job. I've been having so many problems within my family. My wife and I, my husband and I, are having so many problems because we are dwelling on trivial things that are making us so upset. So we are going to start all over again. We are going to start life with rejuvenated outlook. We want to regroup. We want to reprioritize things. We want to do it again. And this is the Islamic way. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Mecca, 10 years, persecution, losing so many of his early companions, so many things that happened to him. 10 years, he received the divine command, go and start again in Medina. So he went to Medina and started again. He stood on his feet. He didn't say, but Ya Allah, 10 years is so long, I don't know whether things will work in Medina or not. No, he went to Medina and started again with hope. Abdul Rahman ibn Auf lost everything in Mecca. He had to leave with nothing on him other than his clothes. When he arrived in Medina, you know, people felt sorry for this billionaire. They felt sorry. And they came to him and they said, you know, especially the one that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ assigned to him as his brother. He said, you know, everything I have, I'm going to divide it in half. You take half. I said, thank you so much. So just tell me, where is the marketplace? He said, why? He said, just tell me. He started all over again. He stood on his feet in no time, and he became wealthier than he was before. You know something? Even our deen, our way of life is built from a religious perspective on starting all over again. Because we make mistakes all the time. We are sinful. We commit sins all the time. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the loving, the merciful, the compassionate, the one who loves us so much, you know what He instituted in our deen, in our way of life? Something called forgiveness. Ask God for forgiveness and you will start all over again. Abu Hurairah reported a hadith that Muslim mentioned in his Sahih. He said, الصلوات الخمس والجمعة إلى الجمعة ورمضان إلى رمضان كفارات لما بينهن إذا اجتنبت الكبائر. What does that mean? Between Fajr this morning and now, if we had made a mistake or made mistakes or committed a sin, by now when we will pray Dhuhr sincerely, it's a new beginning. It's a new beginning. And the same thing goes for Asr and for Maghrib and for Isha. And from last Jumu'ah, last Friday, till today, it's a new beginning. And not only that, Abu Hurairah also reported in a hadith that is rated as agreed upon, muttafaq alayh. What did he say? He said, من حج فلم يرفث ولم يفسق رجع كيوم ولدته أمه. Those who go for Hajj and do not violate the restrictions of Hajj, when they come back, they come anew, as if they are having a new beginning. This is beautiful, to have a new beginning. So I call on all of us, if you are sick and say, that's it, I cannot really live with the same lifestyle that I had before. So what? Modify your lifestyle. I am diabetic. It is not a secret. So I have to modify my lifestyle. And there are many people who are living with certain things that others call poor thing. Don't say poor thing. You know something? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need our sympathy for the Uyghurs or the Rohingyas or the people of Gaza or the Palestinians. They don't need our sympathies. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have made their lives much better than our Canadian lifestyle. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allocated tests and lessons and things in our lives, each for whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala endowed them with, so that we can adjust in a certain way, knowing that there is a new beginning after the grave. When we go to the barzakh, it's a new beginning. Death is not the end. Death is a phenomenon. Death is a phenomenon. It is not the end. And when we go, and enter Jannah, inshallah, we will discover that, all those worries, all those sleepless nights, all those breaking of relationships were not worth it. Were not worth it. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept our dua. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. My dear brothers and sisters, let's get to the practical aspect. I'm standing in front of you with the new commitment and new responsibility for a new beginning. Let us start at our Islamic Center. At our Islamic Center, each one of us has an aspiration, has something that she or he wants to be affected, to be done, so that we can enjoy a community at this center whereby each one of us will get something, what she or he is hoping for. So I'm calling on all of us to seize this opportunity of the new beginning. And I am asking you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as my witness that we really need soon to call for town hall meetings where all of us will come and we will discuss what we need to do on every front so that we can help one another, whether it is someone who doesn't have a job, someone who knows a family that is in need, someone who wants to have something that they can do for the community, someone who wants more spiritual uplifting, so many things. But we've got to do it seizing this new beginning, inshallah. We cannot just continue to stand at a distance and criticize. There's nothing wrong in criticism. There's nothing wrong. But to criticize from a distance and just attribute, mistakes and to the others who really need you with them is unacceptable. So let us come together. Let us work together. Let us try to make this a beehive. A young man, a teenager, someone who is really skeptical, agnostic, doesn't believe anymore, bring him to the center. We really need to work with these people. We cannot dismiss anybody because we've been calling people who do not conform to our personal way. We call them as the others. They are no good. You know what? The hadith of Al-Bukhari that is reported through the authority of Anas bin Malik as well says, "Man qala liqawmin innakum halaktum fahuwa ahlakuhum." Now, some people who studied the hadith, they said it could be ahlakuhum or ahlakahum with a fatha or with a dhamma. Now, whosoever calls people that they are, going to be destroyed, they are losing, then he is the biggest loser, or he is the cause of those losses. Let us not do that. Let us start and have new beginnings, enjoy them. Let's engage families. Let's do things together, inshallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Allah is Al-Kareem. He is Al-Ati, Al-Mu'ti. He is the one who is watching us now and saying, are you going to seize this opportunity or not? اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وخطايانا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم علمنا من ديننا ما جهلنا وذكرنا منه ما نسينا وكن معنا ولا تكن علينا عباد الله. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن بطش ربك لشديد. إنه هو يبدئ ويعيد وهو الغفور الودود ذو العرش المجيد. فعال لما يريد. هل أتاك حديث الجنود فرعون وثمود بل الذين كفروا في تكذيب والله من ورائهم محيط. بل هو قرآن مجيد في لوح محفوظ. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.